All right, so here's the deal. Not a lot of videos online will actually show you what this process is like. They just play background music and show somebody rushing through this. There are a couple of guys out there that'll teach you some stuff, but the reality of it is it takes time, it takes patience, and it takes sticky fingers. You will get glue on your fingers. You should be wearing gloves. However, the MEK you use to thin out the Polytac pretty much attacks everything. So I don't have a nice studio. I'm just kind of here in my shop, recovering my horizontal stabilizers for a modified N3 pup. I've been working on for a couple of years. Anyway, let's get moving along. Hope the camera's in a good position. You guys do have any questions, let me know the timestamp on the video, and I'll do what I can to answer those questions at any point you have. So basically what I'm doing right now, or what I've already done, is laid out my medium fabric. I've kind of cut it to a rough size, and what I'm going to do right now is measure and trim out for the hardest edge, which is the leading edge, the curved edge. And what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to kind of clamp it in place with these clamps. They're Tool Shop brand. I get them from Menards. They're pretty handy. These little feet here actually grab the pipe pretty decently. You can pick those up at your local Menards or whomever else you find online, Amazon or whatever. They're just small clamps, and let me tell you, you cannot have enough of them. All right, we're gonna get this clamp in place. All right, now you will notice that this wrinkles a little bit. That's fine, it's common. Really what we want to do, and I really hope this comes up in video quality because I don't have anybody here helping me. So what you want to do is you want to push this over, and you want to basically find the back edge of your tube and start making a mark right there. Now on these smaller aircraft, the tubes are smaller, of course. Larger aircraft, the tubes are larger. And so what you're going to do is you're going to just make little dashes all the way around. And then when you get that done, you're going to take this back off. What I like to do is make reference marks like this here. That way I know where to put it when I go back together. Anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to mark this all the way around, your leading edge here. When you're done with that, you're going to take this loose, and you're going to flip it over, and you're going to connect all those dashed lines, and you're going to, then what you're going to want to do is wet a brush with Polytac on it. Thin it out a little bit with MEK so it's a little bit thinner and it dries faster. And you're going to want to very carefully, but you don't have to go overboard like some people do. We don't have to be engineers about this. What you're going to do is on that line that you make, you're going to put a nice thin bead of Polytac cement on there that's thinned out, and let it dry. When you cut it, you're going to get a nice felled edge, if you will, that won't pull apart like this here is. That won't happen. The only thing you got to be cautious of is when you do go to glue this down, you want to make sure you wet that with MEK a little bit. That way that glue will soften back up on your edge here. Make sure you have the proper overlap, especially on a certified airplane. This here is it's experimental, although the fabric and the materials and everything I'm putting on this is a little bit overkill for what it is. And those of you who haven't seen my little project, I'll go ahead and show you a picture of that real quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and pause the video while I get this marked out. And after I get it marked out and cut, I'll go ahead and restart the video and we'll start the gluing process. Trailing edge is much the same way. Just you kind of push, you'll actually push down and you can feel the trailing edge of that tube. I also want to go ahead and make a note here before I show you my airplane. You want to be careful that these little glue spots right here aren't actually pulling the fabric down. You want to pop those before you do this. And then you want to go along with your heat iron, and any bubbles or things sticking up here from the glue that you put on it, you want to smooth those out. Because the smoother you keep this during your process, the easier it is to make it look good when you paint it. And let's be honest, I know a lot of guys in the industry or in the experimental aircraft world will go through this entire process, this painstaking process of throwing fabric on here, doing all the rib lacing, going through the whole process, and then they'll go down to Lowe's and they'll buy latex paint. For goodness sakes, you're not saving any money. You're only adding more weight. Try not to cut corners. That's how people get hurt in aviation, by deviating from standard procedure and not following the rules. Fabric covering is no different. Follow the rules and you'll keep yourself safe. Not only that, when people look at your work, they'll actually believe that you cared about what you were doing throughout the whole build. If I see a bad fabric job, I pretty much know that the aircraft was built pretty much the same way, probably using, not AN hardware, but cut thread bolts and all kinds of stuff that'll get you hurt. Anyway, so this airplane here started life as a N3 pup. I've modified a little bit. The original boot cowl was only 18 inches wide. This is now 24 inches. Had a 35 horse modified 2-cylinder VW engine, also known as a Mosler. I custom built the engine mount. We put an 85 horse Jabiru 2200 on here. I don't know if I'm going to keep this engine, but pound for pound, I can put a Rotax on here and probably have a little bit better reliability. These things have been known to have reliability issues, and because my strip is pretty short, I may just go ahead and sell this online and buy a Jabiru, like a 912 IS or something. Anyway, the landing gear is 6 inches longer than a standard November 3 pup or Preceptor N3 pup. I've got, I don't know what size these tires are. I think they're 12 or 16 inch tires. They're pretty decent size. Sorry, I got a lot of projects laying around. I am going to be doing a carbon fiber boot cowl. That's the reason why this looks the way it does. I'm going to be I'm using that to wrap it. I have, if any of you own these airplanes or have owned them, you know that the stock control sits on 2 pillow blocks here. I have actually cut the aft pillow block off, made my own mounts underneath here, and got rid of the elevator cable control system and went with a push rod system with a bell crank here, and then the rod will poke out the tail there. Standard N3 pup has a bar that goes from here to here. I've done the modifications times 10 that you would do for the 2-seat version. I got a Cessna Skymaster seat. I got 6 of them actually, somebody gave me. So I'm going to put a Skymaster seat and Cessna seat rails in here so that I can move the seat back and forward. This will have a glass panel in it with a full IFAS. Sticking with a single handbrake because this airplane's going to have enough capability that that's all I'm going to need. I put some standoffs here for the skylights. I'm probably going to do a carbon fiber leading edge over here, and then I'm going to cut skylights out. Probably one nice triangle one here in the middle. That way I have a couple of storage areas right here is what I'm going to make. This here will be carbon fiber. I'm going to put windows here. I got an opening here that's going to be my battery access. Also access to my controls. There'll be a tray in here that I can pull out, but I can also put a light, like a sleeping bag or something like that. I also have put a plate right here so I can put a beacon. Now the plans, when you upgrade this to the two-seater, tell you just to put these here in there, and then these here should just be lightweight aluminum or wood stringers. Well, I didn't do that. I went with what was it, 065 chromoly steel tube from here all the way back to here. The vertical actually is integrated with the spine tube that goes all the way up to the cockpit. Trying to think. I think this whole vertical is 2 inches taller, and it comes forward another 3 inches. I got a 6-inch Matco tail wheel. I just got done brushing on some poly brush there. I still have to rib stitch this. The rudder has been bought lengthened this way 3 inches, and a much better design. The tubing is twice as strong for the heavy fabric, for the larger engine. We added gussets because the original design, if you actually brought even lightweight 103 fabric down to the proper tautness, it would actually crush the structure, which is why I had to recover these. Actually, I was going to recover them, and then when I pulled them apart, I didn't like the way they were designed, so we completely built new ones with the gussets here out of a lot stronger materials, and only added, I think, a half a pound between the two. But that's okay. I need weight in the tail. Anyway, on the standard design, this tube right here would actually pull in when you tighten up the fabric. And so that's what I had. Mine were actually bowed in, and it looked stupid. One of the things I'm going to be doing is making fairings that go here to get rid of this 90-degree angle here and to reduce drag on the tail. Elevators, I'm just using the same elevators. I don't think they need to be any bigger or heavier because they're pretty robust as it is for an airplane this size. And then here's just a good overall view of where it currently is. Once I get the boot cowl buck made up and get the carbon fiber laid, I'm ready to actually paint the fuselage and do the wiring. The wings on this aircraft originally had wood spars, no flaps, and they were fabric covered. At some point, somebody did a repair on one of them, and when I pulled the fabric off, it kind of scared me. So I decided to scrap the wings, and I'm building all aluminum wings with extra fuel tanks and wing lockers and aluminum spars by buying all the components from Carlson Aircraft. Anyway, I don't know, those of you that have seen other videos of this, yeah, I've been super busy running my business and growing it. So I haven't put out a lot of videos, riding motorcycles. I got a lot of hobbies. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you do, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, and let's build airplanes together. Back to work.